Which Supreme Court cases affect your right to vote? Imagine going to vote and wondering if your rights are protected or if new laws might make voting harder. The Supreme Court has made many decisions that shape your ability to cast a ballot. Some rulings have strengthened voting protections, while others have made it more difficult for certain groups to vote. Knowing these cases helps you understand what legal rights you have when you go to the polls. One important case is South Carolina versus Katzenbach from 1966. This case upheld the Voting Rights Act of 1965, which aimed to stop racial discrimination in voting. The court said that states with a history of voter suppression needed federal approval before changing voting laws. This was a big step to prevent unfair laws that targeted minority voters. It showed that the government could step in to protect voting rights based on the 15th Amendment. Another key case is Harper versus Virginia Board of Elections from 1966. This case struck down poll taxes, which were fees people had to pay to vote. The court ruled that poll taxes violated the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. Many low-income voters and black citizens had been kept from voting because of these taxes. This decision helped make voting more fair for everyone. In 2013, Shelby County versus Holder changed the way voting protections work. The court invalidated the formula used to decide which areas needed federal approval before changing voting laws. Critics say this made it easier for some states to pass laws that can suppress minority voters. Since then, some states have enacted stricter ID laws and reduced polling places, which can make voting harder for some people. More recently, in 2021, Brnovich versus Democratic National Committee made it tougher to challenge voting laws that might discriminate. The court increased the proof needed to show that a law unfairly targets voters based on race or color. This ruling limits the ability of groups to fight against unfair voting practices. In 2023, the Supreme Court decided Allen versus Milligan. The court agreed that Alabama's district maps diluted black voting power and needed to be changed. This case protected against racial gerrymandering by requiring Alabama to create a second district where black voters are the majority. However, some believe the court might revisit these protections in future cases. Understanding these cases helps you see how voting laws are shaped and changed. They show when your right to vote is protected or when it might be at risk. If you face obstacles like confusing ballots or ID laws, knowing these decisions can help you stand up for your rights. Civic groups and legal organizations often use these rulings to fight for fair voting access. Your right to vote depends on these legal decisions. Some rulings have expanded protections, while others have limited them. Staying informed about these cases helps you know when voting laws are fair or unfair. It also helps you understand how to protect your right to participate in elections and make your voice heard.